there is one letter, as you would call it. It took my attention. It came from Danbury, Connecticut. It came from distraught Baptists. And they said, President, we need your help and your assistance. President Jefferson, we are distraught because we are persecuted harshly. Persecuted by other Christians. You realize the configuration of religious groups in the colonies, do you not? And every one of those groups thought that they had a hammerlock power over the area which they controlled, both politically, educationally, religiously. If you were in Methodist territory, the Baptists couldn't get in. If you were in Baptist territory, the Presbyterians could not get in. You know that the Anglicans, the Church of England, my fiercest enemies before the War of Revolution, they were the Episcopalians, you should call them today. Beware of them. They are a feisty group, and they fought me much before the war. They controlled Virginia. But, alas, they lost out because they sided with King George III. Down with King George III, we all said. But they did not say. If you move north, you come to Delaware, and not all of Delaware, but some portions of Delaware, heavily Roman Catholic. As you go west from Delaware, you enter into Pennsylvania. The Quakers controlled that area. After the war, the most pesky, the most fierce, the most intelligent, the most politically savvy were those who controlled New Jersey, the Presbyterians. Have you heard of them? If you are aware of other groups and their hammerlock on individual freedoms, beware of the Presbyterians especially. They battled me. You know that the first university was Harvard, the training ground for Christian pastors. When Harvard, in the estimation of some saints and sinners, swayed too far from strict orthodoxy, that gave birth to the Christians at Yale. And when both Yale and Harvard left their orthodox roots, according to those who considered themselves more orthodox, the Presbyterians gathered in New Jersey and formed the College of New Jersey. You've heard of that. Well, you have not. If you would take the stagecoach from New York to Philadelphia, halfway you would stop at Nassau Inn, and there across the street would be the College of New Jersey. And you say, where? What hamlet are you talking about? It was in Princetown. Say it with alacrity. Say it fast. Say it with me. Princetown. Oh, you know Princeton. Yes, and you say that you know the university. Well, the College of New Jersey, far after my death, in the latter reaches of the 19th century, changed its name to Princeton University. Started by Presbyterian stalwarts. If you move north of that, through all of New England, controlled by the Congregationalists. Sturdy Calvinists, who believed that their word was the very word of the Lord. And if you differed or swayed from them, you were flogged, you were put in stocks, you were tarred and feathered, you were thrown out of the community. And so you can see that these Baptists, back to this letter that they wrote to me plaintively, crying to me, saying, we are a small fledgling group. We are surrounded by all of these Orthodox Calvinists, these Congregationalists, and they are persecuting us. I responded, and I quoted the First Amendment. And then I said, and I believe in the wall of separation between church and state. And you say, that clarifies it. There is a breach, there is a great separation between the things religious and the things of government, because that's what I articulated. But if I articulated it, my patriots, so clearly, and with a paucity of words, why then do you still argue in your culture about the things religious and the things of state, and how they are related or should be separated? Some of you know. Because when I penned that phrase, which I never uttered again in polite conversation, And I never use the separation of church and state but once or twice in any other writings. That is peculiar language, is it not? The separation of church and state is not put together by a jurist, speaking specifically. It is not put together by an accountant who uses statistics. The wall of separation between church and state, why wall? It is an imagistic word, is it not? It is a word of literature. It is a word that by definition is imprecise because we say, what kind of wall, President Jefferson, are you picturing? To separate church and state, is this a thick, stout wall that rises to the belly of the heavens, that is impervious? Is this a pencil-thin wall, so that the things religious can hear the conversation of the things of state, and the things of state can hear of religious? Is it a wall that is porous, so that there is not only conversation, but there is an interlinking between the things of state and the things of religion? Come now, President Jefferson, what kind of wall were you thinking of? And because I pictured it, but I did not describe it with precision, that is one of the reasons why you vociferously debate in your culture today what I meant and how it applies. You understand that, do you not? If I would take a passage of Shakespeare, let us say Hamlet, just one of the speeches, and have copies for each of you, and ask you for 5 minutes to nominate a leader and have discussion of what King Lear meant. And then you come back and you report. The leader here would say, well, we looked at it from this perspective, but someone over here would say, no, you have it all wrong. There's some coloration in language. Did you pick it up? It should be interpreted this way. It is the same literature, but people of goodwill and hearty confidence and illuminating intellect, they look at it in far different ways, do they not? And so it is. So it is with you. When I was tethering my horse, lost on Larimer Street and asking, where in the world is this Denver club? There was a man who showed me his way, and he said, I know where it is. And I said, well, I'm going to this club, and there is a Rotary there. I'm to approach them. He said, oh, they are a good group of people. I said, why are they a good group of people? And he said, because they break down walls. They do not isolate people from each other. Even though they have their differences, they come together for the common good. I said, that is the group that I appreciate. And then he went on, and he started talking about a wall, and I thought he was talking about King Charles, but that was not it at all. He talked about a wall in Germany, and he said it has been dismantled. There were those who were free and those who were in servitude, and they were isolated from each other for a long time. I think he called it the Berlin Wall, and then when I got confused because I thought he was talking about King Charles, he used the diminutive of King Charles, Charlie. Because I said, is this wall so thick that there was no openings whatsoever? He said, oh no, there were some openings. The most famous, he said, was Checkpoint Charlie. I said, could people regularly converse back and forth? He said, no, and few escaped. But there was an opening here, an opening there, with guards. Could it not be that the reason why you still vociferously debate on what I meant by the separation of church and state is because some of you see the wall as thick, others of you see the wall as thin, some of you see the wall as impervious, some of you see the things of religious oozing into the things of the state, some of you see a wall that tickles the very belly of heaven, some of you see a wall that you can talk over, or to put it in your language,